Perfect.
We are rolling.
Are we rolling?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start off easy. Can you introduce yourself, Greg, and tell me what you do?
Awesome.
Your name and what you do.
So my name is Greg Dodge. I'm the owner of Zavino Pizzeria and Wine Bar in Philadelphia. Small, 1,100 square foot pizza place on a busy corner, 13th and Sansom. We just opened earlier this year, Zavino University City, which is right on Drexel and Penn's campus in Philadelphia. I am also a partner at a commercial brokerage firm, MSC Retail, where I help put hospitality restaurant deals together and do restaurant consulting.
Perfect. So maybe we could do an introduction like, I'm Greg Dodge, I'm a restaurateur and restaurant consultant, something like that.
Okay. My name is Greg Dodge. I am a restaurateur and a restaurant consultant in Philadelphia.
Perfect. And over your lifetime, how many restaurants have you owned, would you say?
I've been a partner or owned 4. I currently own 2, and I'm building 1 as we speak.
Perfect. Can you list off all the names of the restaurants you've ever owned or will own?
Yes, I own 2 Zavinos here in Philly, Zavino 13th Street and Zavino University City. I am building Tradici on 13th and Sansom across from Zavino. I have been partners in 2 other restaurants not existing in Philadelphia, Blue Bear Tavern and Froman's. And I have been a partner in Pershing Square in New York with Buzzy O'Keefe.
Perfect. And tell me, what do you do when you're a consultant? What is your specialty?
My specialty is building business plans so that when a restaurateur or first-time restaurant owner has to go get financing, either from friends, family, a bank, or SBA loan, they have the paperwork to get that loan. A business plan must answer more questions than it makes. So we build a comprehensive financial plan that really has stood the test of time and been through many models of restaurants. So when they go in, people have different questions, but the finances are pretty much in line about how much it costs, what are the soft costs and the hard costs of a restaurant, and what it should do in sales. Doing conservative numbers in the beginning of a project is extremely important to the success of opening a restaurant.
So yeah, what would you say makes a success? What makes you a unique restaurateur? Why? What kind of knowledge do you have that makes you a successful restaurant owner?
Well, I can't say that I have a recipe for success, because if I did, I would just write a book and sell it and go live on an island. But I really enjoy running restaurants. But the thing that I've learned is there's a lot of recipes for failure, and I do my best to stay away from those points. I believe I'm being successful right now in offering the value equation. And that is simply when you go in and pay money for a meal, that you feel you got the right service, the right food, the right ambiance, the right situation for what you paid. That could be $20 a person like what I provide, or $100 a person. It doesn't really matter. It's just when you're done with that, you will, wow, that was great. I can't wait to bring more people back here, and I can't wait to show people what I think is an excellent product.
Great. So let's talk about why restaurants fail. Tell me what you see and what owners are doing wrong.
So there's several things when you're opening a restaurant you must avoid. The first is being undercapitalized, and that's the number one reason for failure. If you go into opening your restaurant, you don't have the funds to get through the opening, one of 2 things are going to happen. You're going to get the funds, and you're going to give up all your ownership just getting those funds because they'll put you against the wall. Or you'll open owing everybody, and they'll come crashing down, and you won't get to even have the success of the restaurant. You'll just be squozed by the creditors or other people saying, you don't know what you're doing, and they will close on you, and it'll end. You need 6 months to a year to get your feet underneath you in a restaurant for most cases. The number of restaurants that come off making money within the first 3 to 6 months is probably less than 10%. So you have 90% chance of failure right there. The other big one is over-evaluating what you are. I have a Caesar salad. It's better than the guy next door. He's charging 15. I'm going to charge 16. That's a massive mistake. Everything has a value. It's part of the value equation, but you really need to understand what your product is and who your target audience is.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, Greg. I think kind of going, well, give me an example of like how you said that that's wrong in evaluating your Caesar salad. That the guy had 15 and you're charging 16. How should you figure out your cost for your goods or for your food? Tell me a little bit more about like
Yeah,
should be done.
sure.
What should be done financially to make sure you're successful in your restaurant?
Understanding food costs is pretty important, but there's a mix of the menu, Francine. So there's some items that might be at 30% cost, there might be 10% cost. You have to find the average of your menu so that you have the food cost that you're expecting, which most restaurants that for a full service waiter, waitress, staff should be around 30 to 32%. So you might have items at 22%, you might have some at 40. It all depends on how many of those items you sell, but that's basic restaurant 101 stuff. Most people, though, that they make a mistake in the restaurant is they say, okay, we're giving a great filet, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and I think we should charge $42 because it's better than Ruth Chris down the road. We give a better product, so we're going to charge it. That's a really very dangerous proposition for the customer because not many customers will really know that difference.
Right. So let's talk about your biggest pet peeves in a restaurant. When you walk into your own restaurant or when you walk into others as a consultant, what are just the big no-nos that you see? That can be anything from in the back of the house, the front of the house, anything like that. What do you see that drives you nuts?
Sure. I've been doing this since I was 14, so I can walk in a restaurant and pretty much understand the level that they're running on within 30 seconds, maybe even sooner. The three things you look for are lighting, music, and temperature. Those are the three main components that you start that Murphy's Law. If the lighting's correct, if it feels right, if the temperature's not too hot, not too cold, and the music is not too loud that you can hear people talk, but still it kind of fills in the gaps of emptiness, whatever it is. Whether there's 5 people in a restaurant, needs to be a little louder. If there's people there buzzing about and you can hear it, you just want to hear it in the background. Those are the three things. But from a restaurateur standpoint, I look at cleanliness. I look at the floors, the corners, the staff, how they're presenting themselves. That's a very important component. If someone's not groomed, the restaurant's not clean. If the bathroom's not clean, the kitchen's not clean. And that's what I preach to my staff. Cleanliness is the start of all evils. You have an employee that walks over a piece of paper, there's a million things being missed in that restaurant. They need to reach down and pick it up. The more eyes on the project, the better. It's not two managers or 2 sets of eyes. It's 27 people, everybody looking at the same thing. Keep it simple. And everyone participate. It's a team effort. It's all the cogs moving in the same direction.
Copy. Okay. So yeah, like if you're put into the show, you will be walking into restaurants that are struggling in many facets, but you may be dealing with a very stubborn owner who thinks everything he's doing is right. So, they want to know that there's someone on the other end that can stand up to that and that can not necessarily yell his way out of it, but just, prove to that individual and show them what they're doing. But also they may need to get tough. They may need to have some tough love to show the facts. Kind of tell me about your personality and how you're going to accomplish that with your personality.
Well, I think being friendly, being a gentleman, being courteous and thoughtful to that person is the first step. I mean, no one gets anywhere by just yelling or screaming or going after that person's dignity or their character. Pinpointing, it's easy to come in and say everything's wrong by giving very specific examples and starting with the priorities that need to be addressed, whether it's staff on time, staff being into it, responsibility / being respectful of management. These are the major things that run a restaurant. A restaurant is a family. It's a living, breathing thing. It can take 10 years to build and 10 days to ruin it. You have to treat it like a family member, like a friend. You can't just shit on it all the time. You have to give, you have to love, you have to nurture it. And that's the start of everything. So, if they don't grab that aspect of it, it's pretty easy to get angry with somebody if they're not being respectful or treating their employees. It all starts with the employees. Employees touch the guest. Employees touch the food. If you're not treating them well, your customer is not going to be treated well. It just starts as easy as that. It's, again, from where I grew up in the business, that's Restaurant 101. You're not going to get a good product if you're not nurturing and treating your staff that make them want to turn around and treat the guests the same way.
Got it. And I think that that's definitely great because we will definitely need that. But I think it's also important to, as a host of these shows, you're going to have to get your point across sometimes. And it's not that we're trying to say, oh, you need to be a John Tapper or a Gordon Ramsay. But I think that we need to be able to see that you can be tough and that you can be strict and that you can be someone who is confident in what they know. And so can you talk a little bit about how that pertains to you?
Well, it's tough to manufacture a situation that I would do that, but I can assure you I'm fairly direct, fairly strong, and get my point across in a direct fashion. If someone's being disrespectful to me, they're going to get a very forceful person back. But I'm gonna probably fail at this one, Francine. It's hard for me to manufacture being anything but confident or understanding what I know and how I communicate it to others. But if you want to give me a scenario, I'm all for it.
Or just more to say, describe yourself. And I definitely hear that you're a gentleman, but in situations where people are being disrespectful and people are trying to take advantage of you, what side do you have a more forceful side, and how do you express that?
Well, I think you start right is right. I mean, you go over the examples and say, every action has a consequence. If you do this, this is what your result's going to be most of the time. How can you just suggest that doing this over and over and over again is going to give you a different result? I think that's a clear understanding of what insanity is about. So we've got to start fresh. We have to bring new ideas to a situation, and it takes patience and looking at something different to understand other people's point of view. If you're not willing to listen to other people's point of view, you can't be a leader. You can give direction, but you can't be a leader. And I think a restaurant, more than almost any business out there, needs leadership, not just owners' opinions going in one direction without any participation of the other players involved.
Great. And tell me about this is the part where I need to hear you brag, and I need to be really boastful. Why are you awesome? Tell me about the realm of restaurant owning and consulting, what you've been able to accomplish, and that can be, sales at your restaurant, that can be awards that you've received, it can be anything that you feel like really shows that you know your shit.
I'd say that the thing that I feel I'm awesome at is I've done this since I was 14, and I've gone through this in some of the best markets to learn restaurant business, New York, Los Angeles, all over the world, actually. And I've amassed a friendship with people in the business over the years that I would never give any of them up. But as you travel through life, gathering people in your life that I've stayed close with, people that respect me and who I respect in the restaurant business, that's a lovely thing. And I feel honored with that. As far as Zavino is a combination of many years of hard work, and I realized that I wanted to serve the masses and have large sales per square foot understanding of the restaurant business, not so much average check or being a 5-page colored spread in Savoir magazine. I wanted people to love, and I think if you research Zavino, look at Yelp, talk to people that have been there, I feel very proud that we've accomplished a really great thing there. And the other thing about Zavino I'm very, very proud of is I have a team that I support and support me very much. And We're excited to move it forward. We really feel Zavino can be anywhere. And there's not a lot of restaurants that you can really say can live downtown in the busiest corner of a city, could be out in a mall, could be in a suburb, could be in a hotel, and be a product that people really look forward to going back again and again and again for. And it's pretty basic food. It's Italian, it's pizza, it's wine. But I think the combination of our whole value equation is hard to beat. And on our first one, we do $1,700 a square foot, which it has to be top 5% of restaurant sales across the country. It's still a small restaurant because it's a small space, but it is something that I'm constantly excited when somebody comes up to me and says, I can't get into your restaurant. That as a restaurateur is something I would have never projected or said I could have achieved, and I'm really proud of it.